And joining me now is Union Minister Hardeep Puri. Mr. Puri, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. Sir, for 10 years, India has had a Prime Minister from the Sikh community. Of course, he was Prime Minister Modi's predecessor. Do you think things have changed so drastically that an entire community, according to the leader of opposition, feels isolated and victimized?
Listen, Mariaji, these words, isolated and victimized, are very strong words. I've heard nothing of the sort, but that's not the issue. What he said is even more absurd. He said that members of the Sikh community have difficulty in wearing a turban and wearing a kada. Where is he getting this from? I worn a turban for more than 62 years. I think I was something like 63 or 64 years. And I worn a kada even longer. I have never come across anyone who has expressed a sense of anxiety on the wearing of a turban. Yes, there was one occasion in our post-independence history when during the young within quotes, leader's father's time, there was a pogrom carried out against my community when 3,000 innocent Sikhs were killed in cold blood. Yes, at that point of time, some of my colleagues, some of my brothers and sisters, they feared for their lives and they may have shed a turban either temporarily or permanently because of that fear, but never since then or never earlier. So, I think the young man's association with the Sikh religion goes back to the time of his grandmother. I can't blame him for that, who ordered the armed forces army into the Golden Temple. And then what happened in terms of the pogrom in 1984. But I think whichever way you look at it, it's highly regrettable. It is totally unlikely whether any member of the Sikh community, you named a very distinguished leader who was Prime Minister for 10 years, he or any other members of the Sikh community in Parliament or otherwise would have gone and expressed something. So how did he come up with this statement? I don't know. Did he make it up? Did somebody misinform him? But you know, once you are in political life, and he is not an ordinary normal citizen, he is also, by the way, the leader of opposition, he should check his facts. All of us get information on a daily basis. We check the veracity, we counter-check, we cross-check, and then we make a pronouncement. But this is a new, and by the way, he's attacked the electoral system, he's attacked the legal system, he said elections not free or fair. I mean, for heaven's sake, do you know what a celebration of democracy this is? Total number of registered voters, total number of people who came out to vote. The total number of voters is more than the entire population, I think, of the entire rest of the democratic world put together. So, to come out and say that Sikhs have, he didn't say that they have come to me and expressed an admiration. He's saying this as a a solid piece of evidence which he has got. The Sikhs are scared of wearing a turban. You use the term victimization and this thing. That's a construct you are putting on. So, he's talking about even wearing a turban. I mean, Sikhs, I'm a very proud Sikh. By the way, I have never felt safer in my life wearing a turban in India than I do anywhere in the world.
So, then did the leader of opposition, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, misinterpret or misrepresent the Sikh sentiment? Or many are saying that it reflects a deeper political misunderstanding?
No, deeper political misunderstanding, Madam Mariaji, is a mild understatement. This is this is bordering on the absurd. If a community which has produced, they were the andatas of the country. If a country which has done Samaj Seva, no matter where there is a civil war in the world, whether it was in Syria, elsewhere, members of this community turn up to do Langar Seva. When COVID took place, they were doing Langar Seva. Look at what our Gurudwaras do in terms of Samaj Seva. And it is a community which is anchored in Qurbani, in sacrifice. I mean, if you take the total percentage of population, less than 2%, a number of people in the armed forces, engineers, doctors, who've risen to the apex court, the Supreme Court, diplomats, ambassadors. It's a very proud community. And if they have a sense of grievance, etc., they'll express themselves. Let me tell you, a Sikh doesn't need any prodding. And I certainly don't need any prodding from someone who says that I have a problem wearing a turban. As I told you, I've been wearing a turban for over 62 years.
Yes, and sir, then in that case, is it also a case that the BJP should, take steps to reconcile with the Sikh grievances and perhaps rebuild trust as is being indicated by Rahul Gandhi?
Rahul Gandhi is not the spokesman of the Sikh community. Let me tell you one thing. Rahul Gandhi has a lot to answer for in terms of the current situation in the Sikh community. Rahul Gandhi's family was holding political office when some of the worst atrocities against the Sikhs were committed, and the Sikh community today is rising. It's standing on its own feet. If there are any remaining issues, as far as I know, the Honorable Prime Minister has addressed every Sikh issue, whether it was something to do with the sacrifices of the Sahibzadas, Veerbal Divas, Kartarpur corridor, the other community, whether they are related to agriculture, and we are willing to talk. The Honorable Prime Minister has always had open arms and an open heart. He proudly goes to a Gurdwara wearing a turban. By the way, Mr. Rahul Gandhi also wears a turban. So I don't know whether he gets scared when he wears a turban. I don't know what he's talking about. And if this was not a serious discussion on primetime television, I would say some other things also.
Okay, Mr. Puri, in the global context, with the way things are playing out in Canada, especially over the Khalistan issue, do you think statements coming from Rahul Gandhi give legitimacy to the Sikh separatist demand?
I don't think, there are in every community, in every religion, Mariaji, there are fringe elements. They will have their own agendas, but there's no support for those things. And I'm not getting into that. And by saying that Sikhs are feeling alienated, do you think he's giving a boost to that movement? If it does, then he's doing himself a harm. I don't think it's that. I just think this statement came out of nowhere. I don't think it's well thought through. And this is what I would categorize in the column of bonkers.
But why are you calling it absurd? Many would say it's a political statement that he has made on a foreign soil. He hasn't said anything in that context
It's absurd
in India.
Because what is absurd? Absurd is something that doesn't make sense, which has no basis. If I get up one day and make a statement which has no relevance in terms of facts or context, people will say absurd. This is what I'm saying. I saw this statement earlier today. I have not come across one commentator who says that what he has said is correct.
So besides fact-checking him, is the BJP also demanding more clarity or explanation from Rahul Gandhi as to why he said what he said and who is he really quoting?
Madam, I have reheard him. He's not quoting anyone. He's making a statement on his own, which he believes to be true. So let's leave it at that. What the BJP is going to demand, I don't know. I'm appearing on your show as a very proud Sikh, as a turban-wearing Sikh, as a devout Sikh. And I think that he's talking, XYZ. And I'm also appearing as a BJP Karyakarta. What decision the party takes or which direction it wants to take it is not my call. Since you are a highly respected channel and you asked me to appear, here I am.
Sir,
and I want to thank you for allowing me the freedom to state my views.
Sir, my
let me
question
state
is,
categorically, no Sikh ever has any problem from any quarter in wearing a turban or a kada.
Okay, so as a leader of opposition, a constitutional representative of India, and you are a senior party leader of the BJP, what will be your advice to Rahul Gandhi?
My advice to anyone who's in the political space, please weigh, measure both what you are going to say and the consequences of what you are going to say. Because there is a world out there which is going to judge you not only by what you said, but all the consequences it can lead to. So I think Mr. Gandhi needs to seriously introspect, and I don't know whether he has it in him, because I haven't seen any genuine regret or apology for the Golden Temple attack or for the killing of innocent Sikhs. And he should try to make amends if he can or if he wants to. Otherwise, let him face the music.
So what exactly will be music here?
I don't know. Depends on what your tastes are, preferences are. All I can say is that this statement has not gone down well with any community, not only the Sikhs, but everyone. to say that they are living in fear in India. What is he doing? He's preparing the grounds for some people to seek economic asylum outside. He said something also about worth living in a country where freedom. I mean, his family has been in charge of political power for the bulk of the period since 1947. We are trying to correct it. As far as constitutional freedoms are concerned, democracy is concerned, we had a very interesting situation. Civil liberties have been curtailed only once. It was in June 1975 when the young man's grandmother was in office. And the killings of innocent people took place when his father was the Prime Minister.
Okay. Is the BJP, you have already called it a dangerous narrative. Mr. Puri, does it stop here, or is the BJP also seeking an apology from Rahul Gandhi?
I am not speaking here to tell you what the BJP is thinking. I'm sure the BJP is a well-organized party. It's the largest political party in the world. And, it has crores of members. They will answer. The party will take a view. Just now I'm appearing because, we belong to the world of instant news. Somebody makes a statement and NDTV and the other channels have cameras in front of the rest of us. So they will take a statement. But all I can say is I condemn this in the strongest terms. And I think people making such statements ought to be very careful and they ought to introspect.
All right, Hardeep Singh Puri, appreciate your time here on NDTV. Thank you so much for sharing your views on Rahul Gandhi.